extensive knowledge in tailoring mortgages to her customers who are refinancing or purchasing homes all over the country. She offers conventional FHA, VA, or other loan programs for financing and purchases. Joe can help you look at rent versus buy when it makes sense to refinance, how to get the best deal on your home purchase financing. Joe Garner has been in the real estate / financing business for over 20 years. She got her start in Portland, Maine, where she first began her real estate career. She received her real estate education from the University of Southern Maine and was personally mentored in San Diego, California by the Robert G. Allen, author of Nothing Down, Creating Wealth and The Challenge. On moving back to West Tennessee in 1987, she went into business buying and selling discounted owner finance notes secured on real estate. In 1990, Joe went to work for a residential mortgage company and has been a mortgage loan officer for over 20 years. Her goal is to offer excellent, affordable service to her customers, tailoring the loan programs to the specific needs of her customers. In addition to her work in the mortgage field, Joe Garner is the primary sponsor and founder of Talk Shop in Memphis. She was also the editor of Power Shop, a weekly e-magazine designed for real estate professionals and others indirectly connected to the real estate industry, and currently publishes on her blog. It's my pleasure to introduce Joe Garner.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know if y'all can hear me okay. I'm going to put this down. And if y'all will, silence your phones. Don't turn them off, because we want you to tweet about your experience at Talk Shop. So thank you for being here. You know, every one of us are in some kind of sales, right? If it's not at the office, it is at home with your spouses, your children, your grandchildren. You are always in sales. So today, hopefully whatever we're talking about today is going to help you. Do you remember a time, sometime in your life, when you were so excited you bought a gift that you would have loved to have gotten for yourself? And you gave it to somebody that you really loved, and you were just waiting on their reaction when they opened it. You just knew they were going to be so happy, and they opened it, and you could tell, even though they were being nice, that they just weren't into it. Can you remember a time like that? And you were like, man, I would have loved to have had that, and they didn't. Well, that happens every day in sales. And it's because the things that how we like to express ourselves, our love languages, aren't the same as that other person's, what they love and their love language. So in order to find out how a person can buy from you, and today we're talking about how to sell to the 4 behavioral types the way they want to buy, not the way we want to sell. But so the most important thing that we can do to make a sale is to connect with that person. Not just connect with them with information, but connect with them on an emotional level. Why do we want to connect with them on an emotional level?
That's how they buy.
90% of it, isn't it, Mark? The elephant versus the mouse. The elephant is emotion, the mouse is logic. This is how we roll, guys. Some of us are a little more on the logic than emotional, but for the most part, most of it is emotional. There are 4 behavioral types. One of them is the fighter. The other one is the entertainer. There's the detective. And there's also the entertainer. So we have 4 different types. And on Myers-Briggs, I know, Eric, you work with Myers-Briggs, DISC. There are correlations between these 4, but today we're calling them the fighter, the detective, the entertainer, and the counselor. The counselor is the last one. All right, so how do we tell a fighter within just a few seconds of greeting them? Well, we're going to give y'all some examples in a minute. But the fighter is somebody who marches very resolutely, arms briskly moving. They're a man on a mission or a woman on a mission. Usually if you see somebody walking toward you like that, they're predominantly fighter. Now, all of us have a little bit of everything, but the predominant is fighter. Their voice is slow, it's loud and commanding. You know how when you say to your children, put that down. Okay. Fighters will say, I want blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're very on point, but they're slow with their cadence, but they're loud with their voice, very commanding. Their handshake. When somebody comes out and just jabs their hand out there to shake your hand, that's a good sign they have some fighter tendencies in them. Their office environment. If you walk into their office, it's awards and plaques and things like that are your predominant decorations. All right, so your approach, when you want to talk to a fighter in a way that they want to buy, you've got to jump right in with the reason you're calling on them. It's not like, well, how's your grandmother? How's your grandson? Well, I saw blah, blah, blah. I saw you over at this other network. They don't care. They're busy. They want to get you to get to the chase. So when you come up right in, just go ahead right up front, tell them why you're calling and the biggest benefit they have for talking to you. Just come on out with the first 7 seconds. You gotta get them on point. Your presentation, you need to be very specific about what you're offering them. You need to talk about the bottom line instantly with fighters. Challenge them positively. Now, you have a couple of choices on how to close with them, and if you joined us with Think Tank, we've talked about some different types of closes, how you close a sale. And so join us for Think Tank if you want to be an advertiser. We can get in a lot of that, or some of our other resources here is Eric. He can also help you. And if y'all will, silence your phones. keep them awake, but just silence them. Offer them choices. The most important thing that a fighter wants is to be in control. The worst fear of a fighter is that they're not in control. So always make them feel in control of that transaction. You can use, on a close, you can use a choice of 2 positives. You can say, well, and if you feel like you're at that place, you know how that is when you get to the place where you need to, they're ready to make a decision one way or the other. A good idea for a fighter is to give them an option of 2 positives. Would you rather have this product, or would you rather have this upgraded product? Or would you rather us come out and do your restoration on your house Thursday morning or Thursday afternoon? I mean, 2 positives with fighters. Number 2, entertainer. Let's talk about the entertainer. This person is more people-oriented and expressive. They're the opposite, really, of a fighter. They're motivated by social recognition. They like to be recognized in public. And their worst fear is rejection. The worst fear of the fighter is losing control. The worst fear of an entertainer person is rejection. Under pressure, the entertainer can be overwhelmed. You can identify an entertainer. Their voice is really high and fast. Oh, hey, how are you? It's good to see you. You know, they're very expressive, and that's one way you can tell an entertainer. Their handshake is extroverted. It's overextended. It's kind of flamboyant when they go to shake your hand. They get close to you, physically close to you, a lot quicker. Office environment, very messy. So if you see somebody's office, it's just, it could be a number of reasons, but one of them might be that they're an entertainer. Your approach with them is to begin with pleasantries, the opposite of the fighter. Hey, I saw your picture in the paper the other day. They like recognition. I saw your picture on Facebook. Man, that was such a great thing that you did at that party, and they recognized you for that award. To start with pleasantries and build rapport. Drop names. They know people. They're people-oriented. If you know somebody, obviously you've seen them on social media or you've seen them in a networking group and they like that person, say something about that person. Your presentation, you need to be enthusiastic. Keep things fun. And you can use bullet points because you kind of got to kind of got to draw them in because they're a little bit out here. They're a little bit sanguine. Closing the sale, help them get excited. Help them get excited about what it is that they're buying. Dream with them. Paint a positive picture. Use the crystal ball close. Picture this. You're going to have all of these advantages that you've already told me you like with the other company, but when you go with me, you're also going to get this, and your clients are going to be overjoyed with you. They're going to be like shaking your hand and patting your back and saying, wow, thank you so much. We got this, this, and this, and that. So crystal ball close with the entertainer. Third type, detective. Now, every one of y'all, I know you know a detective. They come in, they're very pressed, their clothes are meticulously pressed and shoes shined, and they walk very slowly and very calculatingly, if that's a word. Under pressure, okay, well the detective is task-oriented. A lot of times they're a perfectionist. They're motivated by accuracy, and the worst fear for a detective is making a mistake. They're going to be over-analytical about your product because they want to make sure they're making the right decision. Under pressure, the detective is overly critical of himself as well as others. And they can seem very negative to you when you're talking with them. You can identify a detective. Their voice is low. They kind of talk fast, but their voice is very low. I looked at this house over here, Pat, and the dimensions on this house is blah, 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 and the bonus room, well, it was 12 by 12, but it's just not enough. I'm not even sure if it's enough to do what we want to do. I don't know, maybe we need a bathroom up there. I mean, they're very low and they're not very loud, but they're talking very fast and they're giving you a whole lot of details. Their handshake is calculating, it's moderate, and they give you a lot of space. In fact, and I just had a detective in my office last week. They'll shake your hand and everything, but then sometimes they'll take 2 steps back. You ever had somebody like that? That is a detective. Their office environment is clean, it's neat, it's organized. It's like, ooh, what's wrong with this person? There's nothing wrong with them, they're detectives. Your approach with them, you need to be very specific. You're going to dispense with the pleasantries. You're not going to come on like a German tank with them, like the fighter. But you are going to say, because you already know they're a detective, I know that you're probably going to want some very specific information about this product and how it's going to work for you. Why don't we sit down right here and have some coffee? I'm happy to go through all the nuts and bolts. They love that, nuts and bolts with you. They love nuts and bolts. You need to state your objective with them also, very upfront. But first let them know you're willing to go through the nuts and bolts, the details with them. Your presentation, you use specifics. They love charts. So if you already know you're dealing with a detective, you can bring a chart, something they can look at, graphs, figures. That's the details. Closing the sale, you want to walk through with them logically. They're more on the logic side than most. Give them all the benefits of your product in detail. Use product, price, performance close, a very logical type close. All right, so now number 4, the counselor. The counselor. Now this person thinks more highly of others than themselves. Everybody loves a counselor. This person is a team-oriented listener who is motivated by maintaining consistency, and their biggest fear is change. They do not like change. Counselors like guarantees. Under pressure, the counselor is going to avoid controversy. Now, how do you identify a counselor? The voice is low in volume and low in speed. The handshake is a hesitation, a little bit slow. Sometimes they'll keep their hands in their pockets. Office environment is filled with pictures of family and friends. Your approach with them, you need to take it slow with the counselor. They don't like change. They don't like controversy. You know, I found that with counselors, one thing that really works for them is when I first meet them, I say, you know what, thank you for meeting me today. I just want you to know up front that it's okay, if you buy from me, great, but if you don't, it's okay. We're still gonna be friends. And if I say that right up front with a counselor, you can visibly see them relax, they sit down, they're ready to talk, because there's no controversy. If they say no, it's okay. So use that one with the counselor. The office environment, I've already said pictures of family. Take it slow with your approach. Talk in a casual manner and invite the team to the presentation. If they say, yeah, well, I want to make sure this is going to be good for my husband or going to be good for my team at work and all that. And say, when can I meet with you and your team? Because if you can meet with them and their team, and the team's okay, they're going to buy your product. Because it's all about whether these people are going to be happy or not them. Closing the sale, close them in their group of people, their peeps. Give them time to decide alone. They don't like controversy. Use the walkout closing method or the if-then closing method. We've talked about some of this in think tanks in the past. The walkout methods, it's okay, no, it's all right. And you kind of use reverse psychology. You just sort of take it off the table. Take the offer off the table in a nice way. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, no. You know that close. The if-then close, if this, then that, is really good for them. All right, so we're going to take a moment here. We're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to show you with our Grammy-winning actors and actresses what it looks like for each of these type sales. We're going to start with the fighter. Now, I'm going to get Mark and Eric to come up, and I'm going to, as they're coming up, we need to get the camera on you guys. I'm going to narrate just a little bit. Eric, he was a good-natured salesman. One of the best on the floor. He has been with the dealership for more than 10 years and was consistently one of the top producers. He was well-trained navigator and able to read the buyers and adapt his selling style really quickly. One day, a gentleman named Mark came through the showroom with a quick, energetic pace. He opened the door as though with a purpose in mind, pulling it wide. His pace was quick as he walked across the floor to where Eric was standing. Mark's arms were pumping as he almost hurried to get to him.
Eric, this is Mark. I want to look at your mid-size sedans.
Hey, Mark, glad to have you here today. Yeah, that's okay. That's what you gotta love, when people come in and know exactly what they're looking for.
Okay, look, I'm really in a hurry here.
Fantastic. We'll make sure we make the most use of your time. So you mentioned a mid-sized car?
Yes.
Are you thinking our range is fairly broad. It starts around 25,000 and goes all the way up to about 60,000 when you put all the bells and whistles, that fully loaded.
Look, I want the best bang for my buck.
Best bang for your buck, we could definitely do that. What are you currently driving?
A Honda.
Great car. What do you like about your Honda?
The gas mileage.
Gas mileage. Yeah, I've heard that many times. So you're in here looking for a new car. What exactly are you looking for in this new vehicle?
Well, I want something besides the Honda because it's old and I need something with a little more zip and pickup and something that makes me look good.
Absolutely. Now, making you look good. Now, is this vehicle you're going to be driving, or is
Yes.
somebody else in the family?
Yep.
You're going
That's
to be
me.
driving? Great. So we could absolutely do that. I apologize. So if we're able to find that good-looking vehicle, still get you that good gas mileage, is that something you're going to be ready to move on today?
Yes.
Great. I got a couple ideas for you. Good job.
All right. Good job, Eric. He met the fighter right on. He was very on point and obviously was ready to go help him right now. All right, our next example, we're gonna have these same Grammy-winning actors come up. Now this is the detective, and as a reserved. Okay, now Mark, you got to change your persona over here. A reserved, neatly dressed man walked in one day. Eric noticed how perfectly pressed his pants were and how methodical his steps were with little movement from his arms. Eric stood up and stuck out his hand out to introduce himself and said,
Hi, my name's Eric. How are you?
I'm well. I'm looking for a 2009 BMW 335i hardtop convertible with a sports package and alloy wheels.
Wow, I love it when somebody comes in prepared like that. Can I get your name real quick?
Sure, Mark.
Mark, hey, great. You come across, having done your research, would getting all the details about our BMWs be something that you'd be interested in?
Absolutely.
Great, I think, let me ask one quick question. Is this vehicle you're gonna be driving yourself, or is there gonna be
Yes.
other people? You're gonna be doing it? Great. Do you mind if I jot down some notes and really make sure that we have either the right car here or we can bring it in?
Yeah.
Great, let's walk over here and we'll get some notes.
all right.
All right, well done, well done. Good work.
Well, Mark didn't mind, so Eric proceeded to ask Mark 20 questions about the price range he was looking for, color, miles per gallon, etc. Then Eric followed him up with finding one line that fit his exact specifications. This is a detective he's working with. He took Mark out to the lot and had him test drive a similar model while he explained all the special benefits in detail of the car he was driving. At the end of the day, Mark ended up liking the model that he drove better and loved Eric for taking the time to really find out what he was looking for. Beautifully done, Eric. All right, we've got another set of actors coming up. I don't know how this one's gonna go. This is the comedy team. Troy McDonald and Pat Goldstein, come on down. While y'all are coming up, I wanna give you a little narrative. One day, a lady wearing bright colors and lots of jewelry walked into the dealership. She bounced from car to car in the showroom and finally ended up, this is another salesman at the same car dealership, at Troy's desk. And she started with an enthusiastic smile.
Hi, how are ya?
I am doing outstanding. How about you?
I couldn't be better.
Well, terrific. It's good to have you come into our showroom. We'd like to chat with you just briefly and see what's happening in your life.
Sure.
I know you.
I would be so much better though if I had a car that ran right.
Well, lucky for you, Pat. We're pretty good at helping people find exactly the need and serve the need that they have on that particular vehicle.
Thank goodness I need that.
Well, good. Your name is Pat.
Yes, what's yours?
I'm Troy McDonald. Very nice to meet you.
Troy, oh, it's so nice to meet you.
Same here. You feel those good hands wrapped around you right now?
I do. Don't let go.
Her jewelry, Pat. Troy, talk about her jewelry.
I love your jewelry. Where did you get that? My wife has a similar
Oh, my gosh,
piece.
cutest little shop, let me tell you about this.
Please.
Okay, y'all just pantomime it right now, because I'll tell you what happened at this point. Pat spent 15 minutes telling Troy, her car salesman, all about where she found this piece of jewelry. Okay, resume.
All right. Sounds like you're excited about looking for a new car, and we're excited to help you find just the exact vehicle that would meet your needs.
That's fantastic.
What type of car are you in now, Pat?
I'm in a VW Bug.
A VW Bug. I had one of those going to college. Tell me a little bit about what you like about the VW Bug, and also what color do you have?
It's lime green, kind of like this.
Really?
It is the best color, and it is so cute.
Wow, cool. What do you like best about that Volkswagen?
The color and the cuteness. I mean, when I drive down the car, everybody turns to look.
Well, I can understand, and that jewelry certainly adds a lot to that vehicle, doesn't it?
I'm sure it does.
Well, what brings you in today? I remember you saying look for something more dependable. And I would guess that Volkswagen probably is at the end of its rope.
You know, it is. It's as much as I love it. It's lived its life and served me well.
Well, good. I was thinking that we're going to be find something you're going to absolutely love and look good in. But I want to make sure that we're not stepping on anybody's toes. Will you be anybody else that would need to make a decision along with what you're looking at, or will you be ready to do something?
Oh no, I am the decision maker.
You are. Well, great.
All right, guys, that's the entertainer. Real quick, because we've only got about 3 minutes. We're gonna ask Eric, the top salesman. Troy was also a top salesman there. Eric is gonna be talking to a counselor. Now, one day, a slow-moving, conservatively dressed woman strolled into the office. She slowly went from car to car in the showroom and acted as though she was checking things out. Eric got up and approached the woman slowly.
Good morning, how are you today?
I'm doing well.
I see you're looking at one of our Audis. Did you know our dealership offers a lifetime warranty on our Audis?
How is that?
Well, German manufacturers tend to do a really good job, and the Audi brand itself, exceptional. We really don't have any issues with it, so we really want to stand behind it.
Well, that's interesting.
I didn't introduce myself. My name's Eric.
My name's Lynn.
Lynn, pleasure to have you here this morning. Are you here by yourself today, Lynn, or do you have somebody else with you when
No.
you're looking?
No, I left everyone at home.
Great. Is there something in particular you're looking for, or are you just doing some general research today?
Well, actually, I'm looking for a minivan.
Oh, minivan. Very cool, we sell a lot of minivans to people that have really broad needs. Will you be making the decision by yourself, or are you gonna be including other people in the decision?
Oh, no, I need my husband here for sure. We never make a decision without discussing it.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. You know, I try to be respectful of my clients, so since your husband's gonna be part of the decision-making process, would it be possible to set up a time to talk to both of you at the same time? That way I can make sure I answer both your questions and give you what you need to make a decision.
That would be good.
Do you think he's available today, or do you want to set a time in the next day or so?
Well, he golfs every day, so we gotta make his golf.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
That was an answer.
All right, y'all, what y'all think about our actors and actresses? All right, so I know we're out of time. I'm Joe Garner, and I just wanted to remind you again that change is good, and learn some of these tactics right here and change your approach with people depending on who they are and what they are. I did want to introduce a special guest who just came in, and this is my friend and now my colleague at Mortgage Lending Partners, powered by Home Vantage, John Bronner. Stand up and have a word. Say
Hey,
something.
John, how are you guys? I'm excited to be here with Joe. This is the first time I've been to Talk Shop, so I'm sorry that I'm running a little late, but it's exciting to have her part of our team because Joe is a veteran in this business that we have, and she has great ideas to help everyone grow their business. So I'm really excited that she's with us and we're part of what she has going on. So thank you.
Thank you, John Bronner. All right, Troy, I'm gonna turn it back over to
You know, I
you.
was gonna ask the question, something that occurred to me, most of our conversations now, other than meeting individuals, it takes place on the phone. Is there something maybe you and Mark or the coach can say about people that might be a hint of which one of these people you might be dealing with?
Well, I can speak first and then Eric. First of all, you wanna listen to the cadence of the voice and the volume of their voice and what they say. Really listen to what they say. You know, practice listening to the cadence of the voice. If they're slow and loud, you know you need to get to the point
Right.
quickly. The benefits and the point, and because they're probably fighters. Now, if they're like Lynn, and let me go back. You got your cheat sheet right here. Well, an entertainer. If they're high volume, fast speed, how are you doing? Blah 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 blah. They're probably entertainers. You can just tell that by the phone. Detective is going to be low volume, fast speed, and a lot of details. Hello, I got your name from the such and such site over there on that tab. I hit that tab. I got your number and blah 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 blah. And they're real low volume, fast speed. Detective, a counselor is going to be low volume, slow speed. You can tell that on the phone. Good question. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, sure
Anything
did.
you want to add, Eric?
No, so just like when you're with somebody face to face, it's triggers. It starts with listening, understanding not only the cadence, but certain words they may choose. So it comes with practice and time, but it's also, doing your homework. And even before we started today, we talked about, it's not only understanding who you're talking to, it's understanding your style as well. So what you want to do is adapt based on the need. Don't try to make somebody buy the way you would. It may fit, but it may not.
All right, real quick, some resources for y'all before I turn this over to Troy. Our skits and a lot of information came from this book, Navigate Selling the Way People Like to Buy, by Dustin Hillis And he's got a lot of good stuff out. You can catch him on YouTube as well. So navigate selling the way people like to buy. Also, I want to invite Mark and Eric to come up and spend just 1 minute each to talk about some resources that they have that touch on this topic. Mark, come on down. Mark Cordona, our launch B&I rep. All right. Come on down.
Okay, well, to be honest, we really don't teach selling in B&I. What we teach is redirecting business from where it was to where you are, and you get to do the selling. Now, the beauty of that is it's a warm market rather than I have to go through all the machinations of trying to figure out where did you come from. I know where you came from and I know what you're looking for. So B&I is one step ahead in that regard, but it is crucial that you do know how to sell. That's not what B&I does. You need to do that.